arrived at the border, it's hard to describe it, but I've told people it was very apocalyptic in a way. It was extremely hot, probably close to 100 degrees. There seemed to be dust everywhere. The air just felt thicker. There was cars and buses and big vehicles along the side of the road. One of the first things that we saw was the outpost, I guess I'll call it, that Ramesh sets up. These girls work out of there where they stand at the border, standing out in the hot sun the entire time. It was hard to put into words what I thought just looking at these girls, and it almost seemed angelic. Like I felt like I was looking at true angels standing in the road. And you could feel like the good and evil colliding in the place.
Human trafficking is a big issue in the country of Nepal. Each year, about 30 to 35,000 girls are taken away from the country of Nepal, primarily to India, and then from India to other destinations, to Middle East, as far as to African continent. So these girls are taken, and they've been abused, they've been tortured. So many of them even lose their life. We work along with the government of Nepal. What we are looking is that are they genuine? Whether they have been deceived or not, whether they've been brought by somebody or forcefully or not.
Within 5 minutes of us being there, 2 girls were rescued. One of the staff members comes over with these girls and they're hysterically crying. One girl faints. And the way I describe it to people, this girl who had just been pulled out of this, just rescued from being sold into a brothel, was looking at us and cowering behind the staff member. It just reminded me of a dog who's been beaten and that hides behind a piece of furniture. It was a very, very hard scene for a lot of the guys to take in. I think I had a little bit of a different take than some of the other guys I spoke to, because I felt the scene and what happened to actually be very encouraging. And that border, at that time, those girls were there to save those other girls.
Each and every time when we suspect something, we take them to the police and for further investigations. And once the investigation is done, we bring them to our emergency shelters. Sometimes this also situation might happen is that it is a society based on shame and honor. When everything of honor goes down and become a shameful object for them, they hesitate to receive their daughter back, or they even deny to receive their daughter back. In that situations, we take them to our safe houses. So when we take them to our safe houses, we call them our daughters. And these our daughters would be able to be counseled, they would be talked about the hope, and they would be provided unconditional love, and they would be provided an opportunity to grow.
My wife and I at the time were talking about having a third. She was feeling nudged by God to have a third and wanted to be supportive of that. So I took a week to think about it and sent an email. I can't say yes to this trip without it feeling like a no to my family, so I have to say no. My wife's partner had given me this book, and it's from Bob Goff. It's called Love Does. And I get into chapter 8 of the book, and it's talking about God using broken people and stepping into circumstances. And of course, Nepal's in the back of my head, gnawing at me a little bit. And then I get to chapter 9. And chapter 9 of the book, I still have bookmark. And it starts by saying, I used to think that you had to be special for God to use you, but now I know you simply need to say yes. And so I'm reading that chapter thinking, oh, is he speaking to me? And then that chapter ends with, so the next time God asks you to do something that is completely inexplicable, something you're sure is a prank because it requires a decision or courage that's way above your pay grade, something that might even save lives, say yes. After I read that, I thought, I have no choice. So I immediately called my wife into the room and said, I have to go to Nepal. And thankfully, I had the most supportive wife. And she said, if you feel you have to go, then you have to go. On the second trip, there was a girl in particular who really taught me, I think, something. And while we were cooking the meals, each guy had assigned a task, and mine was helping this girl crush some peanuts using the bottom of a cup. And she would sit there and grind these peanuts, and I would say, okay, let me give you a break. And she'd say, no. And she would do it for 10 minutes. refusing my insistence to step in and help her. And then finally she'd say, okay, you can go now. And I would do it for about 2 minutes. And then she would take the cup back, not even asking me, and say, okay, you rest. And that's how it went for about an hour. I would just encourage her with, you're doing great. Ask her about her family, ask her what she liked to do. The night culminates with us coming together for a worship service. And a couple of the girls gave testimony. It ends with kind of a goodbye. And the girl I was working with the entire time gets up to say goodbye. And she reads this letter she had drafted. And she talks about how just us being there made her feel loved, and made her feel loved for the first time in her life. When everyone was done, I was trying to get everyone out of the room and try to get everyone back on the bus to go back where we were staying. But I'm outside waiting for some of the guys, and one of the guys on our team came out and said, this girl, she was looking for you. She wanted to say goodbye. She said, Ryan, just so you know, I was thinking about you and everything I said. And that really broke me because I didn't think I did anything. I just stood next to her. I just said, you're doing a great job. And just the simple act of telling them that they're important and valuable and worth something, we have no idea what that means to them.
So our daughters, who once was a victim, who later became a survivor, now she is a daughter. Daughter is now equipped with a skill. Daughter is now equipped with a love and passion in her heart. Daughter is equipped with a full of hope in her life. Now goes back to the society to change the society. In 12 years' time, we have stopped 105,000 daughters across the border of Nepal and India. We have 10,000 daughters gone through our safe home programs back to their homes.
There have been times in reflecting on the trips that I think about where my life would be had I said no. Large parts of my life would be the same. I'd still be working where I'm working. I'd still have my family. But I think my relationship with God would probably be the most impacted. I don't think I'd be as close with God. I think that's probably what I gained the most, so that's what I had the most to lose by saying no. When God presents these opportunities, when He gives us these nudges, He's not doing it because He needs you to step into it. He's doing it because He wants to give you something. And I just look at my experience and think of what a gift I received by following that nudge and what God gave me through the experience.
God obviously speaks. He is speaking all the time. And God gave me the passion to listen Him and obey Him. In obedience, not a delay obedience. If I know God is speaking, let's obey right then. Now it is a time for us to stand up and take an action. How long are we gonna see and wait our daughters comes in a coffin? How long are we gonna wait and see someone will come and change it? How long are we gonna wait the situation will be improved by itself? What is the role of a man? So this is a call to wake up the men in Nepal or men in the global area. Wake up. Let's do something to eradicate this injustice from the face of the earth. And we can do it because God is with us.
One of the easiest things to do in life is to be passive. To just watch others do something and not do anything ourselves. And you just watched two men, Ramesh and Ryan, who refuse to be passive. They said, I have to move, I have to act, I have to defend those that need defense. And here's the amazing thing. You and I can be Ryan and Ramesh's. We can hear from God and we can move and defend others. And it's time to step up and say, God, what are you calling us to do and make a difference? And the cool part is all of us get to be a part of the story you just watched. Think about this. When you and I make a year-end Christmas gift to Kensington, we are saving people's lives, saving girls' lives at the border stations in Nepal. Have you ever thought of that? You are partnering to literally change the lives and legacies of people we'll never meet simply by saying, okay, God, I'm going to step out and give, and I want to be a part of the story, and you get to be a part of the story. So I invite you, join Ann and I as we give, and we will change lives together.